Taking action against human trafficking.
Not in our hotel, not in our city.
Local hotels join the fight to stop the cycle. Despicable attack. An American facing deportation after a lakeshore woman was assaulted. And ongoing delays.
We want to make sure we get this right. It's important for the taxpayers.
Challenges faced by Amherstburg's fire department.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening and thank you for joining us, and welcome to those listening on AM 800. Canadian hotels, including those here across Windsor, Essex, are stepping up efforts to address human trafficking under their roofs. New training is being introduced, identifying signs to watch out for. Joining us now with more on this is CTV's Robert Lothian tonight. Robert.
Yeah, Stefanie, operators are calling this the Not in Our Hotel program. In the coming months, everyone from front desk staff to those working in housekeeping will undergo training to improve their awareness around human trafficking.
We're proud to stand up and say, not in our hotel, not in our city.
That message from hotel operators to human traffickers. Leamington Quality and General Manager Dharmesh Patel says it's one being shared across the country.
Hotels do play a part in this because that accommodation part, it's a huge part of this.
Provincial hotel associations are introducing the Not in Our Hotel initiative. The program offers free training to help staff identify warning signs, recognize potential risks, and take the proper steps to report them.
So this free training empowers every team member from front desk to housekeeping to know what to look for and how to respond safely.
Patel says 75% of human trafficking victims are funneled through hotels.
When we talk about motels or hotels, for sure it's a place where sex trafficking is occurring.
As an anti-human trafficking project coordinator, Taylor Vetero says there's more room for hotels to work with frontline organizations like his.
Able to do consultation with hotel employees or even be part of the intervention strategy when we talk about providing interventions to people who are in hotels.
Human trafficking can include sex or labor trafficking. In 2023, Statistics Canada reported 570 trafficking incidents reported to police across the nation. In Windsor, the crime is often believed to be more prevalent than in other regions.
The 401 is a big piece, you know, like having the ability to go up and down the 401 and stop at various cities along the way and end up in a place like Windsor.
They cross the border, or they've got clients that come across the border. So Windsor just makes it easier because obviously with a casino and things like that, you've got a lot of transient traffic coming through.
For hotels across Windsor, Essex, Patel says the plan is to start rolling out the training in the coming weeks.
Even if we save one victim by doing this, then it's been beneficial.
Well, they are not involved in this specific initiative. A spokesperson for Windsor Police says they are committed to combating human trafficking, adding they are working with partners to identify victims, investigate, and of course, hold offenders accountable. Stefanie.
Okay, Robert Lothian with our top story tonight. Thank you for this, Robert. In other news, an American man is tonight out of jail and being deported after being sentenced today in a case of intimate partner violence. Joining me with this story tonight, Michelle, we talk about these types of stories too often.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. 24-year-old Shamir Colston Hawkins previously pleaded guilty to choking and dangerous driving causing bodily harm. He's been in jail since the time of these offenses. So today, when he was sentenced, he was given credit for time already served and turned over to immigration officials. Justice Kelly Gorman sentenced Shamir Colston Hawkins Wednesday morning. Make no mistake, what he did was despicable, the judge said, but he has accepted responsibility for his actions. In pleading guilty to choking and dangerous driving causing bodily harm, Colston Hawkins admitted to hitting a lakeshore woman with his car 4 hours after choking her. The events have deeply and permanently altered her well-being, Justice Gorman said, noting the victim described ongoing trauma, including anxiety, fear, and emotional instability. Court learned the woman suffers from post-traumatic concussion syndrome and migraines. Colston Hawkins is from Philadelphia and was visiting Canada for a second date with the woman. They got into an argument when she wouldn't let him search her phone. Colston Hawkins turned himself into police outside of Windsor Regional Hospital a few hours after abandoning the woman on the sidewalk. He's been incarcerated ever since. That was December 23rd, 2023. Today, Justice Gorman sentenced him to 18 months for the dangerous driving and 30 days for choking, to be served concurrently. However, because he has been in custody for the equivalent of 28 months, Colston Hawkins has more than served his punishment, and he was released Wednesday. He is on probation in Ontario for 3 years and has been ordered not to return to Canada. The judge cannot sentence him to probation in the United States. His lawyer, Evan Weber, believes Colston Hawkins will be turned over to either immigration officials or border officers to begin the process of deportation today. The Crown had asked for a sentence of 4 to 8 years, but Justice Gorman says that is, quote, grossly disproportionate to the offenses Colston Hawkins pleaded guilty to. He had also been facing charges of attempted murder, forcible confinement, and aggravated assault. Stefanie.
Okay, thank you for this, Michelle.
You're welcome.
CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joining us now for our first look at the weather from the top of the Bell Building tonight. Good evening, Gary.
Good evening, Stefanie. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, the air quality is still not great, but it has improved a touch. You may have noticed the winds picking up, sustained between about 15 to 20 kilometers per hour, with higher gusts at times. That's helped to circulate what has been a relatively stagnant air mass at the surface, what we've been breathing for the last few weeks. Scattered showers and thunderstorms have erupted stateside in Ohio, parts of Indiana, and certainly in southeastern Michigan due to daytime heating. We are under sunshine and hazy conditions. We could still see daytime heating be an issue tomorrow afternoon here in southwestern Ontario. We'll see if those thunderstorms erupt just like they have to our neighbors to the west. I'll break that down coming up. For now, I'll send it back inside to you at the desk.
Now to the growing issue of e-transfer fraud. The method of payment has become incredibly popular, now accounting for around $1 billion in transactions every year. But as CTV's Pat Foran reports, that popularity makes it a target for scammers.
I was shocked. I thought this could never happen to me.
Lola Bielavuk of Toronto was using Poshmark, a website that brings together buyers and sellers, allowing users to purchase new and secondhand items. Bielavuk posted pajamas for $40 and someone offered to buy them.
I saw a link there that was for $40, which is what I was selling it for, an e-transfer. Perfect.
Bielavuk says she was sent what looked like a regular e-transfer link, so she decided to deposit the money.
I clicked Tangerine. I put in my client number and password. So I entered in the security code thinking everything is fine.
But after she did that, the website froze. Someone she didn't know added their name to her e-transfer contact list, and she was scammed out of $2,740. This happened in January. She's been trying for 6 months to get her money back without success.
And I was told that my claim was denied, that I was the one that was negligent.
Tangerine Bank told CTV News Tangerine will never ask you to download software or remote access apps, and you should never share your login information or one-time passcodes with anyone.
Think before you click. Just don't go ahead and click on links that have been sent to you.
Cybersecurity expert Ritesh Kotek says AI is making it easier for criminals to create real-looking e-transfers and banking websites. He says scammers send fake links hoping you'll click on them.
You think you're logging into a financial institution such as your bank, but in actuality, you're logging in and giving your information to these fraudsters and hackers.
Kotak advises using auto deposits, strong passwords, and making sure you're on trusted websites. After CTV News reached out to Tangerine Bank, they reviewed Bielavuk's case again and told her, our recovery efforts with the other financial institution were ultimately successful and your funds have been fully recovered. Pat Foran, CTV News.
So here's our question of the day. Have you ever been the victim of an e-transfer scam? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Yesterday, we asked if the government should do more to support businesses affected by homelessness. Almost 600 people answered, 72% say yes. A 36-year-old man from Leamington is facing impaired driving charges following a crash. OPP responded to a two-vehicle collision just before 6 a.m. on Sunday on Seacliff Drive in Leamington. One driver with non-life-threatening injuries was transported to hospital. The second driver was arrested and charged. A routine property check turned into a surprising discovery early Wednesday morning. Shortly before 1 a.m., a LaSalle police officer checking a commercial property on Front Road spotted a man at the edge of the Detroit River with two backpacks and a kayak. Investigators determined the 51-year-old U.S. citizen was attempting to illegally enter Canada. He was detained and handed over to the RCMP for further investigation. The Yay for Strays Cat Cafe on Ottawa Street is closing its doors for 10 days after receiving a violation from the Windsor-Essex County Health Unit. Owner Chantal Gaudet confirms on social media the closure follows multiple warnings to not allow cats in the cafe area and a cat bite incident involving a child. The cafe's cat lounge will remain closed until August 18th as the animals undergo quarantine for potential rabies transmission. Gaudet declined further interviews. WeChew emphasizes all potential rabies exposures are carefully assessed. Now, originally slated to open at the end of the month, Amherstburg's fire chief says construction on the new hall isn't going as planned. The opening date is being pushed back, but that's not the only delay the department is faced with. Construction continues near the Libro Center on Amherstburg's estimated $11.3 million fire hall.
We want to make sure we get this right. It's important for the taxpayers, it's important for the fire department, it's important for the community.
Opening day was previously scheduled for next month, but it has now been postponed to March of 2026.
We've had some issues with weather over the winter. We lost a lot of days and key days. So there were some construction issues with the footings, as we talked about earlier. And to get those corrected takes time for engineering to have reports put in, solutions in place, and get those corrections done.
Fire Chief Michael Mio tells CTV News structural deficiencies need to be addressed immediately.
So like any construction project, if you're building a house, if you have problems at the base, it just continues throughout the project. So we want to make sure we have the base taken care of.
Mio says the budget won't change despite the unexpected delays and construction continues to move forward.
We're in the midst of finishing the footings and getting walls poured, and then waiting for structural steel to be fabricated and to arrive on site.
He goes on to say tariffs imposed by U.S. President Donald Trump is affecting all aspects of the industry, including the purchase of a $3.1 million fire truck, which has a 3-year build time and is still not ready.
There's severe labor issues. There's material availability issues. We're still having trouble procuring boots. There's still delays in even the simplest things that we're trying to purchase.
Mio says once it's done, it will be an essential addition to the town.
It'll house the 4 fire trucks that we're going to have there, 4 double bays. It'll have our emergency operations center. It'll have where the fire hall actually live and work. And then administration will be there. So we're bringing fire prevention, training, and administration all under one roof.
After being closed since June 26, the Wheatley Library is planning to reopen next week. Officials in Chatham-Kent say the investigation and the plugging of the well behind the Wheatley Library has been successful. At no time was gas detected inside the library, and the building was closed due to its proximity. Starting August 9th, the library will resume regular hours. However, active monitors will remain around the well for at least the next 2 weeks, and the site will be added to the monthly soil gas surveys going forward. Meanwhile, a groundbreaking in East Windsor had several distinguished guests today, some arriving from as far away as China. The groundbreaking for the highly anticipated Lozon Plaza, a new commercial development on Lozon Road. It plans to house a grocery store, a new location for Average Joe's, and other key anchor tenants. Officials say this is a 3-phase project that will also see more retail and medical space, as well as an increase in residential opportunities. The Prime Minister back in Ottawa today is strategizing next steps in the trade war with the U.S., meeting with his cabinet and virtually with the premiers today. CTV's Mike Couture now on the current state of affairs.
Prime Minister Carney, which counter-tariffs? The Prime Minister was tight-lipped a day after saying he'd consider removing some counter-tariffs on American goods if it would help Canadian industries. While saying he supports Mark Carney, Ontario Premier Doug Ford has a different take.
You can't have tariffs on one side and not the other. I still stand by what I say. Dollar for dollar, tariff for tariff. They understand strength, not weakness.
He was planning to deliver that message this afternoon as the premiers held a virtual meeting with the Prime Minister. And once it ended, Ford's message to Canadians is to buckle up for a rough road ahead.
I'm praying that everything's going to go fine. But if it doesn't, I'm going to ask the people, do you trust President Trump? I don't.
In recent days, Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe has called for Canada to remove or reduce counter-tariffs on all American goods. Some feel like the countrywide resolve is being tested.
As this has dragged on with no obvious resolution in sight, some of that determination is flagging a bit.
In an interview with CTV News on Tuesday, the U.S. ambassador to Canada cautioned that trade talks could be slow over the next weeks as U.S. President Donald Trump focuses on a deal with China. And that's why some trade experts believe Canada should refrain from retaliating.
I do think we have to hold something like a retaliation as a threat in case Trump does decide to hit us with something else.
And one example of that unpredictability, President Trump announced an additional 25% tariffs on goods from India because that country is importing Russian oil. India's tariff rate could rise to 50%. Mike Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Strike alert still ahead on Windsor's news leader. The overwhelming vote to strike that could ground travel plans. An active shooter at a U.S. Army base in Georgia wounded 5 soldiers. Details when we return. And funding emergency. Tomorrow, the Windsor Youth Center issues an urgent call to the community, saying its future hangs in the balance. That's tomorrow at 6 on CTV News. A scramble for answers after a gunman, reportedly a U.S. Army sergeant, opened fire at a base in Georgia, wounding 5 other soldiers. NBC's Chris Palloon has what we know so far.
Gunfire ringing out at Fort Stewart near Savannah, Georgia Wednesday morning. The Army says 5 soldiers are now being treated for gunshot wounds.
Thankfully, all are in stable condition and all are expected to recover. The alleged shooter is in custody. We have reestablished security.
The Army says the suspected shooter is Sergeant Cornelius Radford. The shooting took place just before 11 at Radford's workplace. They believe he used his own handgun, not a military weapon, to shoot his fellow soldiers.
And we're going to have to determine how he was able to get a handgun to his place of duty.
The Army says other soldiers tackled Radford and held him until he was arrested. The motive for the shooting, unclear.
Sergeant Radford has been interviewed by the Army Criminal Investigation Division and is currently in pretrial confinement, awaiting a charging decision by the Office of the Special Trial Counsel.
Fort Stewart is the largest Army base in the East with 21,000 active duty soldiers. It's home to the 3rd Infantry Division. Truck driver Ron Peavy told MSNBC guards prevented him from leaving Fort Stewart moments after the shooting when the base went on lockdown.
The whole base went quiet. All you can hear was the emergency vehicles whizzing by in every direction. There had to be 30 of them, if not more.
The White House says President Trump has been briefed on the shooting and is monitoring the situation. Chris Palloon, NBC News.
A judge in Quebec has denied bail for 3 men facing terrorism charges. They're accused of plotting to forcibly seize land near Quebec City. The 3 men face multiple charges, including facilitating terrorist activity and weapons-related offenses. They will be held in jail while awaiting trial. A 4th man was granted bail under a long list of conditions. 2 were members of the armed forces at the time of their arrest in July. If you are planning to fly Air Canada this summer, be aware that flight attendants with the country's largest carrier have voted overwhelmingly in favor of strike action. It could start as early as August 16th. CTV's Judy Trin has the sticking points in the negotiations.
Mike Abraham has booked a flight to Slovenia for a bike tour. He's scheduled to take off just as Air Canada's flight attendants are poised to strike.
Even if I was to actually try to rebook it now with either with Air Canada or with a competitor, say a European airline, the price would be at least 3 times as much.
Air Canada's 10-year contract with its 10,000 flight attendants is expiring. The union representing the workers says better wages and working conditions are needed. Flight attendants average 35 hours of unpaid work each month.
We're not paid anytime the aircraft is not in motion. So any of the pre-flight checks, mandatory safety briefings, all the required stuff that is done on the ground prior to pushback, as well as the deplaning process.
The workers are getting support from the Conservatives, urging the government to amend the labor code to ensure flight attendants are paid for every minute they're required to be at work from check-in to sign-off. Last year, Air Canada generated operating revenues of more than $22 billion. Thousands of passengers could be impacted if a deal is not reached by August 16th.
This will be a test for the Carney government to see whether they have the intestinal fortitude to let labor relations work its way through this process.
Even though Abraham has been planning his trip for months, he doesn't support government intervention, but does support fair wages for workers.
Being paid for your hours on the job, that I think is a no-brainer. I can't possibly understand why a company wouldn't do that.
In a previous statement, Air Canada said it was committed to reaching a fair and equitable contract with its flight attendants. Both sides returned to the bargaining table on Friday. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
The Windsor-Essex Region's Poverty Reduction Strategy, Pathway to Potential, is launching the Neighborhoods program. The goal is to build stronger, more resilient communities in areas facing economic challenges. The program uses a connected community approach, putting residents at the center of change and supported by local organizations called Neighborhood Leads. Leads have been appointed in 3 priority areas: Ward 2, West Windsor, and downtown Windsor's east and west sides. Launch events are being planned in each neighborhood, giving residents a chance to get involved and help shape the future of their communities. The monthly housing stats are out for the month of July, and while residential sales were up, the average home price declined. So here are the numbers. The number of new listings in July totaled 1,337. That is up 1.8% over the same month last year. The numbers of properties sold was also up. Just over 500 of them changed hands, an increase of about 3.5% over July of 2024. The decline was in the average sales price. It dipped slightly, 1.6%, to roughly $592,000. And this is all according to the Windsor-Essex County Association of Realtors. A reminder, this is the final month for Windsor's tunnel bus ferrying passengers to and from Detroit. The buses were cut during budget discussions earlier this year. The last day for the service is August 31st. While the regular tunnel bus is ending at the end of the month, the special events bus will continue to run into December. According to a city report, the August 31st timeline aligns with the new service plan, which rolls out in September. The report says the tunnel bus and special events bus will generate about $640,000 this year and help offset pressures in the transit operating budget. The elimination of the service is expected to save the city between $1.4 million and $1.6 million. Donald Trump's trade policies have contributed to challenges for global retail. Claire's is filing for bankruptcy protection in the U.S., and Canadian filings are expected soon. Stores across North America will remain open during this process. Now, this is the second bankruptcy filing for the bargain accessory company in the last 7 years. The chain CEO blames increased competition, spending trends, and a shift away from and brick and mortar retail. Claire's also imports much of its goods from countries which the Trump administration has hit with tariffs. Canada's main stock index soared more than 300 points today as investors cheered Shopify's quarterly results. In Toronto, the TSX gained 351 points. In New York, the Dow added 81, the Nasdaq up 253. The Canadian dollar gained a fifth of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold fell $1.30 an ounce and oil lost 81 cents a barrel. Immunity decline coming up. Canada once declared measles eliminated, but rising cases now puts that status at risk.
Let's take a look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thank you, Louise, for this image from Pesh Island. Just ahead, will air quality improve by tomorrow? Will sunshine and warm temperatures be the story in the afternoon? We'll find out next on CTV News Windsor.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
More heat and more humidity. Gary joins us again. Gary.
Still looking at air quality, not the best this hour, but it has improved a little bit since yesterday. We knew that it was going to be a tough week with respects to the wildfire situation and the wind patterns circulating a lot of that smoke into southern Ontario. 29 degrees today. Our average high is now shy of 28. It's 27.5. It felt like about 33 to 35 today. That's your humidex value. It was sunny and hazy across southwestern Ontario, holding at approximately 28 degrees at the airport. That's 82 Fahrenheit in Chatham, Kent, and the surrounds there, 27 or 81. Similar sky conditions, again, sunny, hazy, and of course the air quality not the best, but we've seen it worse than today. 33 is what it feels like at the airport in Windsor, about 31, close to 32 in Chatham, Kent. We're in the low 30s across much of southern Ontario. It's your, well, characteristically warm summer, early start to the evening, warming up across the prairies and cooling off in northern parts of Ontario, and that is helpful to fight the fires. We don't want a blistering heat wave, obviously, there. The winds, if they pick up beyond 30K, will certainly help to improve our air quality, and we need those winds to pick up and move further east or north or anywhere out of here because the air has been somewhat stagnant. A couple of things to point out. Daytime heating can often be the trigger for showers and thunderstorms. That's what we saw today in southeastern Michigan. These storms just popped up like mushrooms, right? Warm air rapidly rising into clouds that produce stormy weather, rain and gusty winds, but they sat there and didn't move much. And that's why we've remained relatively quiet in terms of the active weather. We'll be quiet tonight and we'll probably see more daytime heating in and around the lower Great Lakes tomorrow, bring us some scattered showers in Michigan and Ohio and again nearby, but close, but no cigar. Looking at partly cloudy conditions in the low 20s as we head towards midnight. Tomorrow, 29. Chance of a possible shower thunderstorm. Then 30, 31, 31, 31. Fair weather through the weekend and beyond before Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, where we could see cooling off and some rain showers.
Lifetime. Brought to you by Safeguard Medical Alert Systems.
Canadian medical experts say measles transmission in our country continues to soar. As CTV's Pauline Chan reports, it could mean Canada loses its status in just weeks as a country where measles has been wiped out.
Canada was declared to have eliminated measles in 1998.
So measles elimination is defined by the World Health Organization, and it means that within a certain geographical area, in this case Canada, that there is no sustained transmission of measles over a 12-month period.
Jana Shapiro from the University of Toronto says it doesn't mean there were 0 cases, just no sustained transmission.
And now that we've seen a resurgence in the past year or so in Canada, we are at risk of losing that elimination status in 2025.
10 of our 13 provinces and territories have seen cases. Alberta has over 1,600 cases of measles, and Ontario has seen more than 2,300.
We really had our bulk of our cases in kind of March, April, but that's not yet the case in Alberta. I think there's still quite a few new cases being reported on a weekly basis.
Many of the cases sprang from a single event in New Brunswick last October, which led to transmission in other provinces.
I have a lot of concerns. Very deep concerns professionally, foremost, and also personally. Professionally, because measles is truly the most contagious virus that you can come in contact with.
Michelle Knorr was diagnosed with measles in May and was hospitalized for several days despite getting a vaccination decades ago. And as a teacher, she worries about measles spread.
Average 32 kids in a classroom in city schools. It would be a really dangerous thing to have classrooms of children taken out by the measles. And most will manage it. Most will be able to be resilient and overcome it, but some may not.
Shapiro says Canada could lose its measles eliminated status as early as October and says public health vaccination efforts must continue. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Hotel Dieu Grace Healthcare is enhancing mental health support across Windsor, Essex, launching the Essex County Mobile Crisis Rapid Response Team. Now, this team replaces the former mental health response units. The new model pairs specifically trained social workers with Essex OPP officers to respond to live crisis calls. 7 adult units and 1 youth unit for those under the age of 16 are now in operation. Current clients continue to receive follow-up care. The initiative also strengthens collaboration with Windsor Police Services and expands crisis support across the region. The West Nile virus has been detected in Chatham, Kent. Public Health says mosquitoes collected on July 30th in Bridgetown and southeast Chatham have tested positive for the virus. This is the first positive pools of the season. West Nile virus is transmitted through mosquito bites, and while many people show no symptoms, some may experience fever, headache, body aches, and fatigue. Severe cases are rare, but can include nausea, stiff neck, or paralysis. Residents are urged to protect themselves by wearing long clothing, using insect repellent, and eliminating standing water. Is there such a thing as too much tourism? Coming up on Windsor's News Leader, Canadian national parks experience a rush of visitors.
Pure Country 89, Windsor's country music station. Pure access to the biggest stars and the hottest songs. Download the free iHeartRadio app to listen to Pure Country everywhere.
Today marks the 80th anniversary of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima, and the city held a minute of silence. A memorial was held in the Japanese city commemorating those who died when the United States dropped an atomic bomb in 1945. 3 days later, the nearby city, Nagasaki, a second atomic bomb was dropped. The bombs killed more than 200,000 people in the blast and radiation-related sickness. In other news, the Canada Strong Pass, allowing free entry into national parks, is bringing joy to many Canadians, while also creating challenges for those working there. CTV's Tyler Burrow explains.
2 things not hard to find in Banff in the summer: stunning peaks, swarms of people. Irina Kachun and Ihor Mazurek recently moved to Toronto from Ukraine. They're taking advantage of the Canada Strong Pass that provides free access into national parks.
It's very cool that Parks Pass is free, so we decided to use it.
These two Calgarians are also partly here because of the free entry.
It's not much of a trek to come all the way out, and then now that you don't have to pay for it.
The pass was an election pitch by Prime Minister Mark Carney. It was a strategy to unite Canadians by encouraging domestic travel. The pass came into effect June 20th, and in Banff, it hasn't been seamless. Year to date, the town's traffic volume is up 6%. Recently, it recorded its second busiest day ever.
Cannot handle that volume of vehicles into the long term, so we need to continue to work with our provincial and federal partners to look at mass transit.
The town also points to Calgary and area's booming population, strong U.S. dollar, and the sentiment of Canadians wanting to vacation at home for the increase in traffic volume. Residents share the mayor's concern.
Getting out of town by car, like sometimes it's taken me like 20-30 minutes to get out of town.
It's too much. The reality, there's too much tourism that has to be monitored.
And over the long weekend, Waterton had to divert traffic away.
We want to be sure that we don't reach gridlock for safety reasons like in any other jurisdiction.
While parks try to handle the volume of vehicles, businesses are noticing the increase in volume.
The amount of local Canadian traffic has spiked very noticeably, especially day traffic.
The crowds will likely continue as the Canada Strong Pass will be good until September 2nd, the Tuesday after the Labor Day weekend. Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Banff.
An attorney for Sean Diddy Combs says the hip-hop mogul is seeking a pardon from U.S. President Donald Trump for prostitution-related offenses.
Mr. Combs is a very hopeful person, and I believe that he remains hopeful.
Last month, a jury convicted Combs of transportation to engage in prostitution and acquitted him of the most serious charges of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. Beyonce might have a song titled Levi Jeans, but her connection to that particular article of clothing just got more formal. This is the latest ad shared on social media called the Denim Cowboy. One thing that stands out, she rides up on a horse at the beginning, but she is seen driving off on a motorcycle at the very end. Some fans believe it's a subtle hint that her widely anticipated next album will be a rock-themed one. The Denim Cowboy collection will be available to shop starting tomorrow. Now, we want to hear from you. Send us your comments and questions. Text us at 10400. You can also send photos or video as well.
I like you, unscripted, unpredictable, and unapologetic. Wake up with Hannah and Johnny on 93.9 Virgin Radio.
This is your CTV Windsor Our Community Calendar. Come walk or run at this year's Run for Rocky event on Saturday, August 9th during Windsor Essex Pride Fest weekend in support of local gay, straight alliances. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Ricardo Veneza. And Ricardo, Premier Doug Ford provided some new details for the promised Highway 401 tunnel that he's still looking to build.
Yeah, still is the operative word there, Stefanie, after making his position known today that he wants to see dollar-for-dollar retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. The Premier detailed his vision for the 401 tunnel mega project, although there has been no official cost estimate as of yet from his government or feasibility study. Now, Ford says the 50-kilometer tunnel will get built, making it the largest tunnel in the world. He's committed to the plans some experts say could cost more than $100 billion. The Premier is convinced the project will help clear gridlock on the 401, especially in the Greater Toronto area. And he says it will include 3 levels.
1 tunnel, 3 levels, and it's going to serve the people for decades to come. You know, I'll be pushing up tulips by the time everyone's riding this full steam. So it's a vision, and it works, and it's going to help our economy.
Yeah, those levels will include eastbound, westbound traffic and a tunnel for transit as well, a level for transit also. So that's part of the plan that he detailed today. Stefanie will continue to track that story as it develops. And of course, you can always stay up to date at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And we also have an online story of note, Ricardo, concerning property crime within the city.
Yeah, Windsor police are out with crime statistics for July, and it shows a nearly 13% increase in property crime year over year. Now, despite a busier July this time around than last year in 2024, overall crime is on the decline over that period, including crimes against people and other violations down around the 7% mark. And through the first 7 months of this year, property crime is down nearly 9%. You can find those details, including which Windsor ward recorded the highest levels of crime, over at our website. And in our social spotlight tonight, a schoolyard game has made its way to the hard court. Well, when hands aren't enough, these guys have turned rock, paper, scissors into a full court press. They line up, square off, and the loser, hey, they've got to make a run for it. Maybe the new backyard game of the summer, something to do with a little get-together, and maybe a good way to get some sprints in as well, Steph.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I love this idea. Rock, paper, scissors, still so classic, and this just takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, that's what you call full contact rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, yeah.
Then you're going to get a name for it.
Yeah, for sure. I think it could definitely get out of hand, though, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. We used to call it Rochambeau when I was a kid, but I don't know what they call it now.
Okay, thank you, Ricardo, and that's what's happening now. Ride Revolution. When we return, a mechanical horse that thinks, moves, and reacts like the real thing, revolutionizing how riders train.
The latest news to start your day.
Interviews, conversations with the top officials, the difference makers, and personalities in Windsor, Essex.
Only on Windsor, Essex #1 morning show.
It's Mornings with Mike and Meg on AM 800.
The flags, gorgeous, blowing in the wind. Gray there.
Gray,
Cloudy, yeah.
Still air quality not great.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to point out the fact that the winds have been relatively light. If they were picking up this morning, we would have been experiencing better air quality, and that's still a concern. The warm air is still in place. It's just somewhat stagnant. Hence, we have local smoke in the air as I speak through tonight into tomorrow. We'll still be near 30 degrees as an average daytime high for the next 5 days. A chance of some scattered shower, thunderstorm activity tomorrow afternoon. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday look fair. A mixture of sun and cloud, and again about 30 degrees. Humidity will make it feel like about 33 to 35 over that stretch, but very much summer weather in August.
Okay, thank you. Ricardo, what are we working on for tonight?
Well, Stefanie, Michigan congressman not too happy with Canada these days, taking aim at our country because they're fed up with wildfire smoke. Republican Representative John James has written to the Prime Minister calling on Canadian leaders to take action to contain the crisis. James specifically mentions wildfires that are burning in Manitoba. I'll have those details and more tonight, all on the way at 11. Steph.
Okay, thank you. Now, finally for us tonight, a new kind of horse is turning heads just up the 401 and helping riders build confidence in the saddle. CTV's Rita Ismail has that story for us tonight.
A Western-style saddle.
This is Cassidy, a full-size, state-of-the-art mechanical horse designed to mimic the real thing.
This horse has a movable head in 2 places, so the head moves, the neck moves. There are sensors all under the saddles.
Cassidy is an interactive dressage simulator used around the world to help riders of all levels improve their skills safely and efficiently. And it's now available here in London. Local trainer Heather Broadhead is now offering lessons on Cassidy, aiming to give new riders a feel for the sport before they ever climb onto a real horse.
Getting on the simulator can take you through numerous gates, rather quickly. So you can go your walk, your trot, and your canter in several speeds. And this way you can get that muscle memory and know how it's supposed to feel when you get on a live animal.
Standing at 150 centimeters tall, complete with a realistic mane and tail, Cassidy came all the way from the UK with a price tag of roughly $100,000.
Showing you where you are on that.
Equipped with sensors, the simulator gives real-time feedback on posture, balance, and leg pressure, data riders can see instantly on a screen. And it's not just about learning to ride. Broadhead says Cassidy is also helping people recover from injuries.
Nice thing about the biomechanics is you can give them the confidence and work them through programs to get them rehabilitated. And this unit puts them on with no fear of the horse taking a misstep.
While nothing replaces the connection of riding a live horse, Broadhead says Cassidy provides the skills and the confidence that translate directly to the real world. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
Definitely interesting, that's for sure. But the horses still need exercise. They still need to get out there and creating that bond, right, with the rider?
Well, it's incredible to see what people cook up. Like, whoever thought we need to build a robotic horse?
Yeah.
Yes, well,
this is necessary.
AI will have it talking back to us,
Yeah.
I'm sure, at some point.
Well, yeah, out of those chiseled cheekbones he has.
Chisel.
On behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And I'll see you again tonight at 11 for a late look at local news.
Good night.
Good night.